All right, let's get right into it. For almost 100 years, there's been this one book, kind of passed around like a secret handshake among the world's top achievers. It's really a secret blueprint for success, and it's all built on a simple but totally revolutionary idea. So let me ask you this. Can your thoughts, the stuff that's just happening inside your own head, actually create real, tangible wealth? It sounds a little crazy, right? Almost too simple to be true. But hang on, before you write that off, you have to know that some of the biggest titans of industry, the people who literally built the modern world as we know it, they absolutely swore by this idea. I'm talking about giants like Thomas Edison, Henry Ford, and the man who kicked this whole thing off, Andrew Carnegie.
And that's really where this whole story kicks off. See, this wasn't just some book that author Napoleon Hill decided to write one day. No, this was a mission, a challenge, given to him by one of the wealthiest men who ever lived.
Picture this. It's 1908, and Andrew Carnegie challenges a young journalist, Napoleon Hill, to spend his life uncovering the secret philosophy of success. And get this, it took Hill more than 20 years, interviewing over 500 of the most powerful and successful people on the planet to finally crack the code and boil it all down into one formula, which he published in 1937. So, did it work? Well, the impact has been absolutely mind-blowing. With over 100 million copies sold, we're not just talking about some old book. This is a global phenomenon that has literally shaped generations of leaders, entrepreneurs, and thinkers. Okay, so what is this big secret? Well, here's the thing. It all starts inside your head. It's about creating a blueprint in your mind. The first principles Hill lays out aren't about what you do, they're about how you think. And the starting point for this entire system, the absolute ground zero, is one thing: desire. And let's be super clear here. Hill isn't talking about a casual wish, like, oh, I hope I win the lottery. He means a white-hot, burning obsession. It's a goal that completely consumes you, keeping you up at night, not with worry, but with relentless, excited planning. And he doesn't just leave you hanging there. He gives you a super practical 6-step formula to turn that desire into something real. First, you define exactly what you want, down to the last dollar. Second, you decide exactly what you'll give in return. Third, you set a hard deadline. Fourth, you create a plan and you start right now. Fifth, you write it all down in a clear statement. And sixth, you read that statement out loud twice a day, every day. It's about taking that fuzzy dream and turning it into a solid, tangible target. So once you've got that burning desire locked in, you need the next ingredient, and it's a big one: faith. Now, this isn't about blind hope or wishful thinking. Hill is talking about developing a deep, unshakable confidence, a core belief that achieving your goal isn't just possible, it's inevitable. So how in the world do you build that kind of rock-solid belief? You do it through a process he calls autosuggestion. And honestly, this is the engine that drives the whole system. By constantly, repeatedly feeding your goal to your subconscious mind, like with that statement you read twice a day, you are literally reprogramming your brain. You're training it to accept your goal as a fact long before it's actually your reality. All right, so once that internal foundation is solid, once you've got desire and faith locked down, it's time to take all that mental energy and translate it into real-world action. And this brings us to a really key point Hill makes: the power of specialized knowledge. He basically says that general knowledge, knowing a little bit about a lot of things, is pretty much useless for building real wealth. True success, the kind he studied, comes from becoming a true master in one specific field. But hey, knowledge is just a pile of raw materials if you don't do anything with it. You need a place to shape it into a workable plan, and that place, it's your imagination. Hill calls it the workshop of the mind. It's that amazing place where you can cook up brand new ideas, or maybe more powerfully, combine old ideas in revolutionary new ways. This all leads to one of Hill's most powerful observations, and it's all about one simple habit: decision. He found this huge difference between people who make it and people who don't. Successful people? They decide fast, and they change their minds very slowly, if at all. Unsuccessful people? They do the complete opposite. They take forever to decide, and then they change their minds constantly. Why? Because that burning desire gives the successful person clarity and conviction. So, having a solid plan and making quick decisions is a fantastic start. But let's be real, the road to any big achievement is full of bumps and roadblocks. And this is where the next two principles, resilience and collaboration, really come into play. First up, persistence. This is just that raw grit to keep pushing forward long after any sane person would have given up. Hill says this is often the final test. It's that sustained effort that turns your faith from a belief into a cold, hard fact. He noticed that most people don't fail because the challenge is too big. They fail because they stop just one step away from the finish line. And if you need a perfect example of this, just think about Colonel Sanders. He was rejected over 1,000 times. Seriously, can you even wrap your head around that? Hearing no 1,000 times? That's not just determination, that's an almost superhuman level of persistence, and it's all fueled by an absolute belief in his idea. But you don't have to summon that kind of persistence all by yourself. And this brings us to one of Hill's most famous concepts of all, the mastermind. His big finding was that no great success is ever achieved alone. You absolutely need a small, trusted group of people who are all working together in total harmony towards a shared goal. They're there to brainstorm with you, to challenge you, and to support you.
And this is not just some theory. I mean, look at the Vagabonds. This was a real-life mastermind group made up of Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, and Harvey Firestone. Can you just imagine the sheer brain power and the incredible ideas that must have come out of a room with those three guys working together?
So you can have the desire, the plan, and the perfect team. But Napoleon Hill warns that there is one final enemy that you have to defeat. And this enemy, well, it lives inside every single one of us. He called them the 6 ghosts of fear. He believed these were the deep, fundamental anxieties that secretly paralyze our minds and sabotage our best plans before we even get started. And here they are: the fear of poverty, the fear of what other people will think, criticism, the fear of getting sick, the fear of losing someone you love, the fear of getting old, and the fear of death. Hill's point was that one or more of these are quietly running the show in the back of our minds. He really urges us to look at this list and be honest. Which one of these is my main enemy? Because you can't defeat an enemy you can't name.
And all of this, every single principle, really boils down to this one incredible sentence, the core thesis of the entire book. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. It's the ultimate summary. Your potential isn't limited by your bank account or your circumstances. It's limited only by the boundaries you place on your own mind.
And that really just leaves us with one final, powerful question to ask ourselves. If your thoughts truly do create your reality, if they really are the seeds of everything you'll become, what kind of thoughts are you planting today?